if you got here and you're wondering why we crazy people are standing out here in the cold, there's like two of you that are probably wondering, I will explain myself. For the next 2 Mondays, we have the Fort Famous Open Mic. We were going on pretty strong for the past year and a half, but we're going to be shutting down for the season. It's kind of cold, gets old out here, sitting till 12 o'clock. I get pretty cold. So they're going to have other events on Mondays. They're probably going to be about 2-hour events as opposed to this 4-hour one. So be sure to keep showing up on Mondays. But this is one of the last 2 Fort Famous Open Mics we've got going on. So thank you for being here. If you're interested in performing, there's a list right over there. Please sign up. If not, no worries. We appreciate audience members because at this point it's mostly performers just hanging out for each other. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you. My name is Stephanie and I'm your hostess. Yay! Thank you. Been hosting open mics in Austin for 6 years. This is the first one that's technically been mine that I was allowed to do with kind of what I wanted before I had parameters and rules and other people that I had to adhere to. This one I got to make my own rules, so it was more of a professional setting than I'd ever had to experience before, so I was happy about that. Thank you everybody who made it possible, by the way. So I'm going to continue on and introduce our next performer because I'm tired of rambling up here. Please put your hands together for Janet. This last time I could never pronounce correctly because I can't say it phonetically when I look at it. I can't. I'm going to have to write it down phonetically.
The Kuypers peach schnapps.
Yeah, it's a Kuypers schnapps.
Yeah, Kuypers schnapps.
I don't drink like that.
Oh, well, drink it.
Look at all these. I'm getting lectured by all my friends. I guess I'm going to have to go read this crap. I mean, drink this crap. Read this crap. I will do it. Janet, everybody.
Thank you. Hello. I'm tall like Birdman. My husband is going to start the music in just a minute. A friend of mine, Francois LaRue, is the hot man of South Africa, a guy from South Africa, professional performance artist that would come around and tour and do stuff internationally. It's really awesome, and this thing doesn't stay on. There we go. And this year, he was about to come in the beginning of November and see us and do a show, and we're going to see each other and be great. And in Vancouver, trying to get into the States, they said, oh, you're an artist, you're not really that well known, but you're kind of well known. Well, we don't like what you're doing, so we're going to say that you can't have a visa and you're not welcome in the United States for another 5 years. And so this guy had like shows set up in the States, as he's done every year, and he can't come and visit us, which makes me very sad, which is why I'm going to play music from him behind my poetry readings for you guys. So, and I thank you, Joan, for doing that for me. First one is from a recent collection book of mine. I could read from a book, but I want to show these things out for you guys. This poem is about interviews and stuff, and it's called In Depth, and this poem is called Burn It In. Once when I was on a beach on the west coast of Florida, it was New Year's Eve, and that yellow moon swung over the Gulf like a swaying lantern. And I was watching the waves crash in front of me with a friend, and the wind picked up, and my friend just stared at that moon for a while, and then he closed his eyes. I asked him what he was thinking, and he said, I want to look at this scene and remember it and record it into my brain, burn it into my brain so that I can call it up whenever I want to, so I can have it with me always. I too have my recorders. I burn these things into my brain. I burn these things onto pages. I pick and choose what needs to be said, what needs to be remembered. Every year, at the end of every year, I would write in my journal and recall the things that happened to me, log in all the memories I needed to keep, because that is what kept me sane, and that is what kept me alive. When I first went to college, I was studying to become a computer science engineer. I wanted to make a ton of money. I wanted to beat everyone else. But I hated what I was doing, because burned in my brain were all the taunts of kids who were in cliques so that others could do the thinking for them. Because burned in my brain were all the evenings, all the high school dances that I never went to. Because burned in my brain were all the people I knew I was better than them, but they always thought that they were better than me. So, yeah, I wanted to make a ton of money. I wanted to beat everyone else, but I hated what I was doing, and I hated what I saw around me. I hated all the pain that people put each other through. So, to keep me sane, to keep me alive. I wrote down the things I could not say. That is what kept me together. When I looked around me and I saw friends raping my friends, I wrote, I burned into these nightmares with a pen. And yes, I have this recorded. I have all of this recorded. What did you think I was doing when I was stuffing handwritten notes into my pockets, or when I was typing long hours into the night? In college, I had roommates who in their spare time would watch movies in our living room and cross-stitch. I could never understand this. In my spare time, I was not watching others' stories or weaving thread to keep my hands busy. I was sitting in a corner of a cafe, scribbling into a notebook. I was sitting in a university computer lab, slamming my fingers into that keyboard, because there were too many injustices in the world. There were too many atrocities that I had witnessed. There were too many people who had wronged me, and I had a lot of work to do. There had to be a record of what you had done. Did you think your crimes would go unpunished? Did you think you'd just come back years hello, slap me on the back with a friendly hello, and think that I wouldn't remember? Well, you see, that's what I've got my poems for, so there'll always be a record of what you have done. Yes, I have defiled many pages in your honor, you who swung your battle axe high above your head and thought that no one would remember in the end. Well, I made a point to remember. Yes, I have defiled many pages. And have you defiled many women? You, the man who rapes my friends? You, the man who rapes my sisters? You, the man who rapes me? Is this what makes you a strong man? You want to know why I do the things I do? I had to record these things. That is what kept me together. When people were dying, this is what kept me together. And when my friends went off to war, this is what kept me together. And when my friends were raped and left for dead, these writings kept me together. And when no one bothered to notice this, or change this, or care about this, these writings kept me together. I need to record these things to remind myself of where I came from. I need to record these things to remind myself that there are things to value and things to hate. I need to record these things to remind myself that there are things worth fighting for, worth dying for. I need to record these things to remind myself that I am alive.
Yeah.
I work with Scars Publications. You want to know anything about them, you go to scars.tv, SCARS.tv. I run 2 literary magazines. You can find out about them. Send me poems or whatnot. I've got a couple books of performance art shows. This one in a chapter 18, 28, 38 series is chapter 48, volume 2. It's got stuff from my hometown of Chicago as well as stuff from here in Austin. That's why the cover picture shows a flying away from Chicago, I guess. I'm gonna find a poem for you. Aha! I need sound effects for this one. This one is from an Austin show, and it's called Ultimate Connectivity, A Bird in the Hand. So, after a night camping at Bryce National Canyon, there was snow on the ground, but my zipper in my sleeping bag wasn't broken. I got out of my tent in the morning, and a few little birds were fluttering by. Now, one seemed to hang out just a little too close, so I put some grain in the palm of my hand, stretched out my forearm, and remained perfectly still. Almost on cue, less than 2 minutes later, a bird landed in the palm of my hand to enjoy the bounty I gave them. And I suddenly felt like I was Mother Earth, and I could stretch out my arms like a scarecrow. But this time it's not to animals would be afraid, but it was just outstretching my arms so I could give them food and shelter and love. And maybe that's when I twitched my finger, or else I was out of food. But the next thing I knew, My 3-inch little purr took a step or two along my palm and across my fingers before it flew away. I'm going to do one from the other chapter 48, volume 1, because I got 2 of them here for you. I got to show off all my books. This is from chapter 48, volume 1, and this was from a show that was at the library that was 5 blocks from the house I grew up in. Anyway, this one's called Observations 9 and 6. I know I'm supposed to be the creative one, but I started my schooling in computer science engineering, and even if I write poetry, it's not really creative, it's just what makes sense, which is how I feel. I fly in airplanes, I jump from airplanes, I pilot airplanes, trying to get closer to the stars. So maybe I'm not a writer, maybe I'm an observer, looking out across the world, maybe I'm an astronomer, trying to look past the Kuiper belt and trying to understand what makes everything, everything. I've walked on the tops of glaciers, crouched down from the violent winds, looking down in the beginning of time. I have watched solar storms and the geomagnetic aberrations of the aurora borealis from near the Arctic Circle. I may have even brought some potato vodka in Russia, or beer that had, as I held your hand, walking along the Great Wall of China. I try to observe the world because molecule by molecule we originate from the stars and we are all linked. But outer space is a violent place, and if we're all linked, we feel the good and the bad. We see meteor showers while galaxies collide. We watch comets' tails from in the night sky as comets smash into planets. We witness the death of stars. We look from both the living and the dead because, yes, we are all linked and we are all observers. And I never want to let you go. Thank you very much.
We can take a better selfie than last week, too.
Do you want to do it?
A better picture.
Can I get a selfie? All right, so can we do it? Can we do it? We have to turn around. We'll have to make it flip. And then that's what I'll go. All right. Do you want? I gotta see how much. Can I get the hose in? Can I get the hose in? Show off the hose. Get. Oh yeah. Perfect. I look goofy. There we go. Wait. Give him
All right.
Beautiful. Sorry. Got the hose. Those hose are perfect. Wait. Why am I walking? Why are you walking away? Thank you.
Anybody know what's going on here?